love to see had injuries not rob Gronk of some of those seasons. Now we can have a more, but for me, that's just me. I mean, to each his own. I mean, some people say, okay, I still got Gronk. But for me, I think Trav, when I do his body of work in totality, I do playoff big games. There's never been a game in which you said, Trav ain't having today. Not in the playoffs.
I watched Travis Kelce. He just seems unguardable. Like somehow, some way, he's just always open, even when he's not. And to me, that's the measurement of it. You could be good. You could be a great route runner. You could have great hands. But somehow, some way, when you're always open, that matters. And I look at a guy like Travis
Kelce is the greatest tight end of all time. Now, when you add everything into it, I thought Rob Gronkowski was before, because I felt like he was not only a great pass catcher, but he was a great inline blocker. He was so much, and he meant so much to the run game. But we can't start changing the conversations when we want to. The conversation for greatest always goes into who were you in the biggest of games, right? Who were you in the playoffs? In 18 games in the playoffs, Travis Kelce has 16 touchdowns. Travis Kelce has almost 1,600 yards. Travis Kelce is talked about as it comes to big games, to playoff games, in the conversation with one target ever, and that target's name is Jerry Rice.
Great to throw. Nice diving catch made at midfield by Rob Gronkowski. Gets up and moves still forward, still going down the sideline, and finally tripped up inside the 15 to about the 11.
And I'm telling you, you wonder why New England, and I mean all of New England, not just the Patriots, has fallen in love with the Gronk.
It's coming. Mahomes gets away. Keeps his eyes downfield and fires and completes it to Kelce. What else is new? And Kelce with blocking inside the 20, rumbling inside the 10. Look at this. Kelce's in the end zone.
I'm back. Wanted to make another video. This one's gonna be Rob Gronkowski versus Travis Kelce. So I think that this gonna be another good video, just like a couple other videos I did, like Jerry Rice versus Moss and Kobe versus LeBron or Kobe versus Tim Duncan. So this is a easy video for me because these are two players I actually got to watch play their entire career. I've seen the entire Rob Gronkowski career, you know, being a Patriots fan. I remember when they drafted Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, who Aaron Hernandez was actually my favorite tight end once upon a time. And I actually liked Aaron Hernandez more than Rob Gronkowski. Like, a lot of people remember how good Aaron Hernandez actually was, but that's another subject for another day. But so I'm a Gronk fan. I've seen Gronk's entire career, just about every single game. And then with Travis Kelce, I seen majority of Kelce's career. I don't remember his maybe rookie season, or maybe his first 2 years, but I've been watching him since when they had Alex Smith, because I played fantasy football. So what's funny is that the year, it was either, I don't know if Alex Smith was there for 2 years or 1 year, but I think but at least for sure the year before Mahomes came, when Alex Smith was the quarterback, and for the Chiefs, and it was Kelce and Hill there already. I had Hill and Kelce in fantasy football. It was crazy at the time. Before they like exploded like they did with Mahomes, I had them that last season with Alex Smith, and they both had great years. I think they might have both had 1,000 yards, Hill and Kelce, but they both was good that year. So that's when I really was like, okay, Kelce is that dude, because he was my fantasy football tight end that year. So then, of course, next year they get Mahomes, and then everybody knows about Kelce and Hill over these past, whatever it is, six, 7 years or whatever. So, of course, I didn't watch Kelce, you know, a lot, just like Gronk. So this is something I can really get my opinion on. So breaking down Gronk versus Gronkowski. Now, I want to start by saying, like, are these the two greatest tight ends? Because I know a lot of people want to throw, because the only two names that could be thrown in is Shannon Sharp and Tony Gonzalez. So Tony Gonzalez was that dude, but everybody know, like, the only reason he's like Dan Marino. Like, he just missing a ring. Like, even though, of course, ring's not everything, but you need, like, kind of that one ring to kind of, like, fully solidify you, just like with the Randy Moss and Jerry Rice. Like, I feel like if Randy Moss would have had 1 or 2 rings, he didn't need 3 like Jerry Rice to where he would have been considered the GOAT. I feel like if Tony Gonzalez had 1 ring or 2 rings, he could be considered the GOAT. Or in the conversation, but the fact that he don't have none and he didn't even really come close to winning the Super Bowl, it's kind of hard to put him up there. And then Shannon has 3, just like Kelce got 3, and then Gronk has 4, I believe. I think Gronk got 4 rings, but some of them he didn't play in. But yeah, so Shannon is there also, but the only problem that Shannon got is that he played in a different era. Like, he didn't play in a passing era, which makes him look good, even more better, because he was getting 1,000 yards when it wasn't really a passing era. But then, well, all 3 of them had great quarterback. John Elway, a top 5 quarterback, and so is Mahomes and Brady. Only difference with Shannon is that Shannon might know that the Broncos was a running team when they was winning. Like, Terrell Davis was the best player on that team. So, that's something that Kelce and Gronk really didn't have. Like, they was probably the best, like, skill position. Besides the year where Hill and Kelce kind of went back and forth with being the best skill position players. But the last 2 years, obviously, Kelce been the best skill player on the Chiefs. And then Gronk was that for majority of years. Like, Gronk, of course, was better than Edelman, and people consider, if you look at the stats, like the rookie year, Gronk actually had a better year than Aaron Hernandez did, even though I like or felt like Aaron Hernandez might have been better, but the stats say that Gronk was better. And, Gronk was the X factor versus with Shannon, Terrell Davis really carried them a lot. But, Shannon could could be in the conversation also, but Shannon also said himself that he put Kelce and Gronk over him. Like, Shannon, a prideful dude, he not gonna say that if it's not true. So it's really between Kelce and Gronk. So when it comes to Kelce and Gronk, I mean, it's really neck and neck. Of course, people both, a lot of people say Gronk, some people say Kelce, and the reasons why, reason why people say that Gronk is better than Kelce is because of his blocking. He probably the best blocking tight end, which matters. Helping to run the game and being physical. And then for Kelce, people say that he better because at this point, his stats is better besides touchdowns. What I get into, yards and catches, he way above Gronk, but Gronk's still ahead of him in touchdowns because Gronk was a touchdown monster. So I mean, it's both that, and then once we get deeper into it, just like I brought up both of they statistic and all pros and stuff like that, I feel like when it comes to Gronk is the better blocker. Kelce is probably the better all-around receiver because I feel like he's more agile, more fast. He's better for catching yards, but Gronk did average a touchdown a game, and him and Randy Moss is the only 2 players I ever said that like they guaranteed to get at least 1 touchdown, if not 2, every single game, and that's just ridiculous to say that. Kelce not the touchdown, even though Kelce get touchdown, but he not the touchdown monster that Gronk was, like Randy Moss. Like, Kelce's more so the type that's going to get you 6 to 10 catches, like more so than Gronk, because Gronk didn't have a lot of games where he had double-digit catches, and he had a bunch of 100-yard games, but not really like Kelce did for the most part. So, this is really splitting hairs. They both 2 of the best for sure, dominant, the best to ever do it. The way I really come down and look at it, and it's a big factor, and it just have to be the deciding factor for me is health. Like a lot of people that pick Gronk don't bring that up, or a lot of people don't bring this up. It really comes down to health, because the best ability is availability, and that's the truth with Kelce. Like Kelce hasn't never been injured. Like the start of this season, against the Lions is the only game I can remember him really missing like that. Like, Kelce, was always there in the playoffs. He always there. And versus we know Gronk was always injured. Like, and I like as a Patriots fan, I remember like Gronk stayed injured. And every time Gronk caught the ball, you was scared. Like, oh my God, I pray he not injured. Oh my God, I hope he okay. Like, you don't have that with Kelce. Every time Kelce get tackled, you don't wonder if he gonna get up or not, like Gronk. And that is a big factor. Like, if I had to choose a team, I'm choosing Kelce, even though I'm a more Gronk fan and I love Gronk, but but the injuries are just too much for me to deal with. Like, he wasn't there for a lot of playoff games, a lot of Super Bowls. He missed half of seasons. Like, he missed too many games, but of course, that speaks to how dominant he is. The fact that he missed all them games and he's still ahead of Kelce in touchdowns, and he's still considered on the GOAT list or one or two behind Kelce. Like, and of course, if it wasn't for the injuries, like just an individual, Gronk is better than Kelce is. Like, if you take away injuries, like, so basically, if you say one game for my life, I'll take Gronk for sure. I'm just gonna pray he don't get injured. Like, that's the only thing I pray he make it through that game. But for one game, I'll take Gronk. But if I'm starting a team, or if I need like multiple games or over the course of a season, I'm gonna take Kelce, because I just don't believe that Gronk gonna be able to make it through the whole season. I just don't. So that's how I really look at it. Like, it really just come down to injuries for me. You know, that's what it really is. Like, Gronk was injured a lot. Like Gronk, trying to think of somebody who comparable to Gronk. I can't believe I can't think of somebody off the top of my head, but like he was that player that when he played, maybe like a Tracy McGrady in basketball or something like that, to where he, when he played, he that dude, he unstoppable. Like, he the best, but he always injured. But luckily for Gronk, he was able to play enough and to do enough to where he's still a Hall of Famer. He's still one of the best. Like, he still get his credit. It's not like really like Tracy McGrady or some other players to where injuries really like stop them from reaching like a lot of their potential and like holding them back. I know Tracy McGrady made it to the Hall of Fame, but that's debatable. But like, Gronk was still able to put on a Hall of Fame career and be one of the best despite always being injured. So I give Gronk a lot of credit, but like I said, injuries do matter. And then Kelce is still playing. Who knows? Like, he probably gonna end up having all the tight end records. He already got all the records in the playoffs too. Like, he even passed Jerry Rice and wide receivers when it comes to playoff stats. And that's crazy for a tight end to do. So, I got to give Kelce his credit that, if I had feet to the fire, I would draft Kelce. If I had both of them, I would take Kelce, unless it's just for one game, like the Super Bowl is starting and Gronk is fully healthy and I just got to choose, then yeah, I would choose Gronk. But if I'm drafting a team or who I think had a better career overall, I'm gonna go with Kelce, because Gronk was just injured too much for me.